Have you ever been in a room full of people, yet you feel totally invisible? It's almost like you're stuck on a deserted island, unable to communicate with anyone around you. We've all been there. But if loneliness is an all too frequent companion of yours, then know that there's something that you can do about it. First off, you need to know that when it comes to feeling lonely, you're not alone. I know, sounds paradoxical, but this feeling is more common than you might think. Psychologist Dr. Firestone says that among 20,000 US adults, nearly half feel lonely. You see, humans are social beings and have been that way for thousands of years. That's why we learn about ancient tribes and colonies in history, or at least for the few of us who actually paid attention in school. Ancient tribes formed to survive the harsh natural environment, but even if we're not hunting down our food and trying to escape from predators today, our instincts still drive us to be with others in the event of feeling less connected or struggling to make connections. The feeling of loneliness is triggered by the mind as a survival instinct. It's an innate reminder that you have to keep trying to make social connections in order to survive. That's why it's not something to be ashamed of, but rather a chance to learn to cope with emotions while seeking to find new relationships or perhaps revive old ones. But feeling lonely isn't the same as being alone. Alone time can be a blissful time needed to relax and perhaps catch up on those hobbies you never had time for anymore, or just do nothing. Let's admit, it feels good to sleep in and catch up on some much-needed me time. This doesn't mean you're lonely. Loneliness is when you feel like you have no one to talk to about the things that matter to you. You believe that you're disconnected from everyone around you, even though you crave their acceptance. In the modern world we live in today, one of the many places we turn to for social acceptance is, naturally, social media. It lets us make friends and keep in touch with people all over the world in just the click of a button. Yet, it's also deprived people of the ability to talk and socialize in person on a regular basis. Online communication lacks a personal touch and can often hide the true emotions expressed. Do you really laugh out loud each time you type LOL? Exactly. This is why we're becoming less in tune to each other's feelings, and it also leads to increased feelings of isolation. Even though social media has provided new means of instant and accessible communication, it's also creating a breakdown in personal relationships. In fact, also mentions in that study of 200,000 people, only 50% said they had meaningful social interactions on a daily basis. Now, what are the odds that these people aren't chatting online every single day? The fact is that having thousands of followers or friends on these social media platforms will not make up for a lack of human interaction. And it seems like anything can trigger this feeling. Perhaps you recently moved to a new place, or maybe it feels like everyone always seems too busy to spend time with you. Whatever the reason, the feeling of loneliness is a natural reaction, but it can be a major problem if you're constantly feeling this way, and it's keeping you from leading a happy and healthy life. However natural the feeling may be, if it occurs too often, it can have devastating effects on your health. Studies have shown that once loneliness becomes chronic, it can start breaking down your immune system. Prolonged loneliness can also speed up the aging process because it works against cell renewal. Not to mention, depression and loneliness often come hand in hand. So it's not just your physical health that you should be worried about, but your mental well-being too. The worst thing about loneliness is that once it gets hold of you, you have a harder time making human connections. So this rut of sorts becomes an almost unbreakable, vicious cycle. But I did say almost. The good news is that you can do something about it. 1. Recognize the problem. One of the most important things is to recognize that your loneliness has become an issue, that it's keeping you from achieving your goals, or just living your life. Denying your feelings and assuming, it'll just go away eventually, or I'll distract myself with work, is not the way to go about it. You need to admit the problem before you can start tackling it. 2. Know it's not your fault. Remember, it happens to everyone, and it's a natural feeling, just like anger, happiness, confusion, or love. You're not weird or awkward or some sort of outcast, just because you feel like you're totally isolated even when you're surrounded by people. Perhaps the beauty, or the burden, of being human is that we can't control how we feel. You don't get to choose what your heart's telling you. You just have to listen to it and do something about it. 3. Find solace elsewhere. Now, don't get me wrong. This is not about empty distractions that'll keep you from dealing with the issue. It can be anything that puts a smile on your face. Whether it's a good book or a game of fetch with your dog, if you have a hobby that brings you joy, then pour your heart into it. And if you don't have any hobbies, then why not find one? 4. Get up and get active. You'd be surprised what a change of environment or a little exercise can do for not only your body, but your mind too. Exercise helps produce endorphins, which are these chemicals in your body that trigger happier thoughts. You don't have to start hitting the gym or anything. Just go for a stroll or a quick run in the park to get yourself started. The sunshine and fresh air alone can easily lift your mood. You could also try yoga to calm your mind and get your body in shape as an added bonus. 5. Help someone in need. Try to turn your thoughts away from yourself by helping others. You could volunteer at a retirement home, or perhaps help cook and distribute food at a homeless shelter. There are also animal shelters that would be so grateful for your assistance. Helping a neighbor in the garden is a good way to start out. Try anything that will make you feel useful and important to someone. Plus, you'll be interacting with other people, which is the whole reason why your instincts are making you feel lonely. Your brain wants to socialize. 6. Visualize your happy place. Sounds a little cliche, I know, but it could work even if only for a short while. Close your eyes and picture yourself somewhere you've been before and felt happy and at peace. If you can't think of a place, try to picture somewhere you've always wanted to go. And think of all the exciting things you'd like to do if you ever got the chance. And hey, if you do have the means to get out and see the world, then traveling is always a great way to pull yourself out of a rut. 7. Reach out to someone. However difficult it may be, this may seem like a contradiction. How can you talk to someone if you feel there's no one you can turn to? It can be hard to reach out if you start feeling alone in the world. But think of someone who usually makes you feel good about yourself or easily gets a laugh out of you. You don't have to open up about your feelings if you don't want to, but just pick up the phone and make contact in some way. It may be hard at first, but if you keep at it, then it'll soon become second nature. And again, shooting someone a DM probably won't cut it. Give someone a call, or even better, meet up for lunch and just have a chat. Who knows? They may be going through the same thing as you, and your call will totally make their day. 8. Start a diary. Therapists have been recommending this for years because it actually works. Feeling lonely means you believe you have no one to reach out to, or maybe you just don't have a lot of friends, but you do need an outlet for your emotions. A diary creates a safe space for you to express your feelings. It won't judge you or change the topic or interrupt you. It's just there for you to spill everything that's on your mind. And of course, don't forget that you can combine any or all of these methods. If you have any other tips for coping with loneliness, or you'd like to share your own experiences, then sound off in the comments below. Remember to give this video a like, share it with a friend, and click subscribe to stay on the bright side of life.